Hi, I'm Shawna from Hollaback Baltimore, and I'm sitting here with Anna from Hollaback Brussels.
Hello.
All the way from Belgium.
Amazing.
What are you doing here?
Well, right now we're both in New York.
Yep.
Amazing.
On a dreary, rainy Brooklyn day.
Yes.
But we thought, since we're both here, we should get together and just talk about the differences in the way that people experience street harassment in our respective towns. But you are originally from Baltimore, is that true?
I am originally from Baltimore, and I happened to be home last week, and so I called up Shawna. I sent her an email, and I was like, we need to meet and talk about what our different organizations are doing, different cities, and
Yeah.
what similarities and differences are, and so...
So let's talk about what we talked about last week. So in Belgium, in your experience, you've been there for how many years?
This is my third year.
So what does street harassment usually look like in Brussels?
I would say that, like, what my guess is that any other city is like, has a huge spectrum of stuff that happens to different people. And from what I understand, there's no rhyme or reason why more people get certain kind of harassment and some people get another kind. Personally, I experience very low level end of the spectrum. Hello, bonjour, like, how are
Seemingly
you?
innocent.
Seemingly innocent, but that have a very nasty quality attached to it, and that are very persistent, like happening multiple times in one day. But we've gotten stories, you know, everything from physical assault to rape to can you know, come in my car, show me where these directions are, I want you to come home with me, da 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 da. So, whereas I've experienced a lot of this talking harassment, there's been plenty of people who have come to us with stories of, again, with assault.
That run the gamut.
Run the gamut, exactly.
Experiences.
And so it's hard to say. I can tell you what it's like for me,
Sure.
which is what I said, but I can tell that from these submissions that there's really
There's a
a
serious
ton
problem.
of different kinds, and it's happening a lot.
I'm sure
A
that's
lot of
very representative of most of the world, which is why there's so many Hollabacks
Exactly.
sprouting up everywhere,
Exactly.
because we all experience some, you know, one level or another of
Exactly.
gender-based violence.
Yeah.
The population that does experience street harassment, are you having to educate them at all that street harassment exists, or that it can be detrimental, or do they feel that this is enough of a problem and they recognize the importance of Hollaback?
There's been a lot of positive reactions in terms of, oh my gosh, I have this all the time, I'm so glad this organization exists, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or, you know, stuff like that, but it's people who experience it who are saying, oh, thank goodness, it's about time. And of course there's hundreds of thousands of other people who are like, what's that? So we get a lot of different kinds of reactions from people who either don't understand that it's an issue, have never seen it happening or experienced it happening, and then those people who are like, this is such a problem here, we're so happy to be talking about it. So we have a whole spectrum of individuals. I mean, the thing that I'm dealing with the most now is that when people submit stories to the site, I think this low level persistent type of harassment that I was mentioning, I think people don't think it's serious enough that they can call that harassment or that they can report that on the site. Also because this whole argument, it happened so fast, you don't really know, what did they mean, da, da, da. There's a lot of confusion in the moment when the harassment occurs. And that's the part that I kind of want to push, that, hey, this is where it starts, even if it doesn't mean that much, or, oh, I can get over it really fast. I think it's still very a meaningful interaction in a way that can be really detrimental.
Yeah, so you might have to raise awareness that it's okay, like even if it seems like a small comment, if you feel like you were harassed, it's okay to report that as harassment onto the site.
Exactly.
How long ago did you launch?
About a month ago, yeah. And we actually launched early accidentally.
Accidentally?
Well, we had an article written about us by someone who had seen our Facebook page that we had started like 2 months ago.
Sure,
We started,
get the buzz going.
yeah,
get
we
people
started
involved.
Facebook and Twitter first, and just like, okay, this is who we are. The site's coming, but
Yeah.
we asked people to already submit stories, and we had a few people doing that through Facebook that we then posted later on. But someone heard about us and was like, I want to write an article about this, which was fantastic. But then it meant that we launched 2.5 weeks early. Press-wise, we launched 2.5 weeks early. We weren't actually done with the site, but so many people had heard about it that they came and they told their stories, and we got started. It was great. It was great.
That's a hard launch.
It was a hard
right
launch.
out the gate.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous.
But that's good. People were excited enough that
Yeah.
they wanted to jump on right away.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what kinds of things are you looking to do? I mean, you've only been around a short amount of time. What are you looking to do, like, on the street level, with people, events? Do you have anything planned? What's coming up?
What's coming up is that in June we're going to have another street action. We've already, before we launched, we had one chalk walk.
Awesome.
Where we went to the 4 organizers. We invited other people, but ended up only being us. We went to the place where we were harassed, or one of the places, and we wrote that we reclaimed that spot in public space.
Oh, that's great.
I was harassed here, I reclaimed this space, I Hollaback. And we took pictures, and it was a real cathartic and also empowering, because people would walk by and be like, oh, what's that? And we'd be like, well, I was harassed here. And just the admitting that this event happened, same with sharing your story, like, I'm going to say this out loud. This happened to me. This person did this to me. And I'm going to stand in this place, with my support team and reclaim it. So,
because you have every right to be there, just like the harasser does.
Exactly. So that's an example of something we did before, but we're brainstorming with our current volunteers and with people who are friends with us on Facebook or readers. We're having a brainstorming meeting next week, actually, to decide what event we'll do together in June, because we really want
community input,
because people are like, oh, I have this idea. So we really want to function as a platform for action also. So we're kind of waiting to see what they want to do, and then we'll shape it so that everyone can be as involved as possible.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. And how is it working with some native Belgian? Or what do you even call them?
Belgians.
Okay.
It's
very far away.
I know, no, it's good. We were a little worried before something that I didn't know is that maybe a stereotype that my Belgian friends told me is that people are a little bit shy. And so one of the organizers, she thought, maybe they're going to be too shy. They don't want to talk about this in public, especially if it's a difficult thing to say anyway, hey, this thing happened to me and I want to talk about it.
Or there are nasty words or vulgar things.
Sure. And we've been getting stories, so I hope that it continues to kind of keep flooding in, and we can keep providing resources for people.
Awesome.
So
that's what's so great about Hollaback, is because you can submit your story anonymously if you need to, or use a fake name if that feels better, but it's a way to get it out there and tell your story without having to confront your harasser face to face.
Right.
I bet a lot of these women and LGBTQ folks have just been waiting for the opportunity to not be shy about it. To actually get it out there.
Yeah.
And say something.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks so much, Anna.
And thank you for your advice.
Oh,
it's great to hear from someone who's been doing it for a little bit longer than us.
Yeah, but in a year you'll have all kinds of stories to tell me too, so don't worry about it. I'm excited to hear more. And of course you can follow Hollaback Belgium, Hollaback Brussels on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll put that information up. And thanks again for hanging out with me in Brooklyn.